2023. What a fantastic year for video games, right? So many great titles that I dropped hundreds of hours in. It was pretty much impossible to juggle them all. Doing all of the story paths of Armored Core 6, climbing the ranks of Street Fighter 6, and man, Baldur's Gate 3. What an incredible and addictive game. I am mostly through my second playthrough, and currently planning a third, and sorry, getting sidetracked here. Anime was pretty great in 2023 as well, and that's what I'm supposed to be talking about, isn't it? So tonight we are running through the best anime of 2023, presented in a very rough ascending order, so don't take the individual placements too seriously. But at the end I will announce my anime of the year, which has to be a debut title, just as always. Without further ado, let's move on to the honorable mentions. Look, Magical Destroyers is a pretty average show as a whole, but I found it quite charming in the way it was targeted to be nostalgic for late 2000s otaku culture, which is exactly the era that I was deep diving into the subculture. Zom 100 starts with an incredible first episode that I genuinely think everyone should see. The premise of a zombie apocalypse as a welcome escape from the daily grind of exploitative working conditions is just brilliant and can hit close to home. I personally didn't seem to enjoy the rest of the season as much as the rest of the world did, and that's okay. Oshi no Ko is another show with a must-watch first episode that is almost movie-worthy. Incredible storytelling with many strange twists and turns. Though after the first episode, I personally wasn't that invested in the plot revolving around the Japanese entertainment industry, as in-depth as it was. Trigun Stampede is a strange reboot, where it converts the 90s styled maximalist approach of the original into a modern sleek minimalism style, rendered in unrivaled 3D animation. My personal preference is probably for the original 90s version, but I had a great time with this one as well. Let's be frank, Ranking of Kings The Treasure Chest of Courage is a filler arc. Most of the stories fill in the backstories or in-between moments of the main plot. As a big Ranking of Kings fan, I found this season way better executed than my description probably makes it sound. The final episode, though, is actually extremely plot relevant and legitimately felt like the first episode of a second season, so don't skip that. We love Baki for all of its goofiness, and it doesn't get more goofy than a new opponent that is a cryogenically frozen prehistoric human that grew strong by fighting dinosaurs. And his name is Pickle. This is the most fun I have had with Baki since the first season of the reboot. Had a lot more fun in the first half of this season than I did in the second half. Demon Slayer keeps on doing Demon Slayer things, as it continues to be enjoyable event television, with some incredible animation and tension. But I would personally like to see Demon Slayer show more growth and evolve as it is in its third season. Unfortunately, it feels like it's getting a little stagnant and stretched out. The Witch from Mercury continued into 2023 with heightened stakes and more conflict. The animation and music are still top notch, but the conclusion kinda peters out and doesn't leave much of an impact. And pour one out for the anime I didn't find time for this year. Now with the honorable mentions out of the way, let's get to the best anime of the year, according to me. Alright, first off, Scott Pilgrim Takes Off is an anime. It is very clearly a co-production. Secondly, this show is great. I have never read the comic, but I am a huge fan of the movie. And hearing all the cast reprise their roles, despite some of them being now major A-list stars, is just so much fun. I thought I was going to get a straight adaptation of the comics, but instead this is a rebuild of Evangelion type story. Meaning that the story that you know swerves into new territory. This allows us to focus on new story possibilities, but you also get to see characters have new growth and interactions. Also bonus points for including one of anime's best songs of all time, Konyawa Hurricane from Bubblegum Crisis. The world of Pokemon lends itself to be a flexible franchise that can tell many different types of stories, but I feel like they have not taken full advantage of this. Until now. Pokemon Concierge is a cozy show set in a tropical island Pokemon resort. Pokemon mixed with stop motion and this laid back tone works perfectly together to make something extremely joyous. Tengoku Daimyoko is set in a post-apocalyptic Tokyo and follows two survivors, Kiriko and Maru, who team up to travel through the ruins that is haunted with raiders and horrifying monsters, in the search of a place named Heaven. While that is the main plot, the story also cuts away to a story about a group of children in what appears to be a research facility. At the start of the show, it's very ambiguous what the connection is between these two ongoing stories. It's a narrative full of mystery, atmosphere, and it isn't afraid to be experimental. However, I do have to give a content warning for this show. It has some uncomfortable and unpleasant scenes, which I'm not sure the story has justified their inclusion outside of shock value. From one of the manga assistants that worked on Chainsaw Man and the studio that brought you the anime adaptation of Chainsaw Man comes another violent and deranged adventure in Hell's Paradise. A group of dangerous criminals along with their assigned executioners are sent to a mysterious island to obtain the elixir of life for the Shogun. The island is extremely dangerous, full of disturbing Lovecraftian horrors. All of those on the expedition must use their unique fighting styles to fend off monsters and hopefully survive. It's a fun show with plenty of action and inventive horror. 10 years after the debut of the first season, we finally have part 2 of the final chapters of part 3 of the final season. It's been such a journey following this anime. Do I think the finale lived up to all the hype that this series brought? No, not entirely. But is that an actual fair thing to expect? I have some very genuine issues with some of the moments and character choices, but it was still good though. And endings are really hard to pull off. So it's kind of a miracle that it's as competent as it is. Does the ending take away from the experience as a whole? Not at all. In due time, I would be keen to dip back into the world of Attack on Titan. For my money, Golden Kamuy is one of the most underappreciated modern anime. With its absolutely zany cast of characters and the breakneck speed of the story, it's one of the most fun and addictive anime out there. Last year I said I would make a video about Golden Kamuy, didn't I? Well, I have delayed that because of the upcoming 5th season, and that should be the final season. So I might as well wait until I can talk about the series holistically. I just love everything about this damn cozy show. It's such a joy to watch this week to week, and the entire runtime I just have this dumb grin on my face. This season we get a multi-episode arc that's set on a luxury cruise ship. I especially love that this arc is Yor-centric, not only because she is my favourite character, but I feel like she hasn't had enough of a spotlight on her so far. Great season, I hope the show never ends. Anime fans have been robbed by not getting more Naoki Urasawa adaptations. This is the famed mangaka's take on a particular arc of Astro Boy in his signature grounded and gritty style. It follows a robot detective Gashit trying to solve a series of human and robot murders. If you love your mature and heady sci-fi stories, do not miss this one. This has been one of the biggest glow-ups in anime history. I remember in 2021 not being the most positive on Jujutsu Kaisen, but I have since revisited Season 1 in preparation for Season 2, and holy this is up there with the best of the shonen battle genre. The quality of Season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen is on a similar quality level as Hunter x Hunter's adaptation in 2011, and I do not say that lightly. Jujutsu Kaisen I feel has the strongest character writing compared to its modern counterparts, and you mix that with a truly climactic arc that has so much drama and weight, and the animation is just insane, and the fights are so engaging. This is incredible event television that shouldn't be missed by any anime fan. Also, the music for this season is so creative and so fun, it deserves its own mention. Viewers of my channel know I love Vinland Saga, but in particular I love this story arc. It is the philosophical heart of the series, but I won't say much more because I'm planning to do an update video for this season. Mappa Studios did such an amazing job with such an amazing part of this story. By all accounts, this is my favorite anime to be released this year, but I always give the title of Anime of the Year to a debut series. So let's go see what that is. Frieren is an extremely skilled elf mage who was in the Adventurer party who successfully took down the Demon King. That was 80 years ago, and while that time has aged all the people she met on that journey, to Frieren, a long-living elf, hardly any time has passed at all. Frieren sets on a new journey with a new young party to better understand and honor the fleeting lifespans of the short-lived species. This is a classic fantasy series. No isekai, no game mechanics, just pure fantasy. It is a show that is very confident in its vision and its world. The tone and world is, dare I say it, somewhat Tolkien-esque. It's not afraid to take things slow, to let things play out in a laid-back manner, and with a cozy feel. But it certainly has its moments of drama and action when the story calls for it. It's a wonderful and mature series that I believe has a long legacy of being known as one of the greats coming out of the era that we are currently in. So there you have it, the anime from 2023 that I saw and recommend. The year, I feel, was defined by the high quality sequels that continue the current era's best series, but there was also a handful of standout debuts. Side note, I don't think the Cozy Spirit would ever forgive me if I didn't give Frieren the #1 spot. Isn't that right? This is the Neon Spirit, signing out.